Hello, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Take Back Your Power. I'm Lydia, and I'm here with your new moon reading for today, March the 2nd, 2022. So, wow, we are into some really incredible aspects, astrological aspects, planetary aspects at this time. You could feel the energy around you, and it's crazy. But also, we're into spring. I'm in the northern hemisphere, and we're into spring in our area, and it's just beautiful. I'm seeing some beautiful birds coming around, birds that I've never seen before, and so it's really lovely to see that today is the newness. This is the beginning of the newness of this energy that is coming in, whether it feels that it's a little bit off or it feels that it's a little bit newer and uncharted territory. So, without further ado, we're going to start into the reading. And as per usual, I've picked three cards actually this time from one deck of cards through the Moonology oracle cards with by Yasmin Boland. So basically, we're going to have a shorter reading, but I think it's going to be fairly powerful in that the energies are very, very powerful at this time. So the first card that we have is the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. How true is that? It's definitely gaining momentum, and we certainly feel this with everything that is going on the outside. But I wanted to speak more about the fact that with everything that is going on in the world, there's a lot of turmoil. But at the same time, what's happening on the inside of us is exploratory. It's very spiritually oriented. We've got a lot happening within us that would mirror what is happening on the outside. Not necessarily warring factions or whatever within us, but basically, and it could be in that sense. It's not necessarily so, but it could very well be. Right at this time, we have a very interesting set of planets. We've got Mars and Venus that are running pretty much parallel to each other. And with the two, Mars is more fiery and aggressive, and also basically the masculine side of these aspects, and Venus is the female and or nurturing side. We've got these two also looking at the butting heads between the male and the female and or masculine and feminine energies. So if you feel that within, it's just kind of this tug of war. It's definitely happening, and it's definitely due to a lot of things that are happening around us. So don't forget that we are very, very attuned to the energies of the universe, energies that are out there. So whatever happens on the outside, we're definitely feeling a lot of that on the inside. Like I said, it's not necessarily a war as per se, because you could be working through these things through a spiritual manner. You're working through your dark sides, the I want to say that the mirror image of yourself. So you have your the I'm going to say positive and negative just for lack of better terms at this time, but basically you have your positive sides and you have your negative sides, and at this particular time you're seeing aspects of both, and this is important. This is that duality in human nature that we're looking at, and how we can look at which sides we want to choose, especially during certain circumstances or things within our lives. But also looking on the outside of things, what circumstance do we choose to see? What truths do we want to take a look at and bring within? And don't forget that sometimes there are two sides to truths. I know it sounds very funny, but always use your intuition in what you see and what you feel is resonating with you with aspects of information that come in. So, whether it's aspects of information that you're getting for yourself or that you're actually feeling and hearing on the outside, the worldly side, make sure to discern these things and do your own investigating just to make sure that it resonates with you, that information resonates with you. Okay, so we're going to look at the energy is definitely gaining momentum for the waxing moon at this time. And basically, just keeping in mind that no matter what cards I decide to choose, or that the choice is, it's the message that is clear at this particular time. It doesn't necessarily have to fall with the actual card that is being said at this time. So I'm just pulling that card up in the guidebook because I usually read what's in the guidebook. I find it very informational, and it definitely has information that you could that would resonate with some of you more than others. During the waxing moon cycle, hope springs eternal. This card is a very positive omen, indicating that you can create the reality you're dreaming of, though it will take some work and you're not quite there yet. This is a time of energies rising up. Isn't that that's so true? Emotions are building too. Where do you want to go? And do you believe you can get there? Either you can just keep meditating and focusing on your desired outcome, or you can make the courageous commitment to take more practical steps towards your goals. Whichever you decide, you are most certainly on the right track. And so, to attune to this particular moon, I know I'm headed in the right direction. And that is actually something that is perfect for this particular time, that we are headed in the right direction, no matter where it is and what it feels like or see that we see. Additional meanings for this card, I'm going to read some of these for you because they may pertain to each or to some people. The situation is full of potential. Your dream can come true. More effort is yet required. Are you willing to give it? Review your goals and ensure you're still committed, and keep moving forwards. So any one of those could actually be applicable to you. And I feel that we're going to speak a little bit more upon this too. Um, this basically gives you a teaching option for the waxing cycle. So it's the period of the lunar cycle from the new moon to the full moon. So we're kind of in that same set at this particular time. And especially actually as I'm reading it right now, it's just after the exact new moon. And during this time, the moon appears to be slightly bigger and rounder every night. This is a very empowering and very empowered and empowering time. And this is a very promising card. It suggests now is the time to make plans and to act on them, no matter when you actually pull the card. Like I said, basically, it doesn't matter when you do, it's the message that is clear for this time. And this is perfect because at this particular time, it's saying that the energy is gaining momentum. Now, we're talking about several different things. And so I'm going to kind of look into this just a little bit with you. Definitely, this time is very crucial for your development on the inside, spiritual development, looking at both the masculine and feminine sides, like I was talking about before, and seeing where you can find balance between the two. Are you putting more attention into that aggressive nature of yourself, say becoming very assertive, but maybe overly so in certain circumstances or in relationships? Or are you taking that side where you actually backing down more than you should, that you should maybe stand up for yourself? This basically looks at clear boundaries when you're looking at the single person. The energy is also gaining momentum in the world, if you know what is happening in the world at this particular time. And it feels like we're kind of in a tornado of all sorts of aspects with, and all I can say is, and I'm not going to go into too much with the world. I have my own opinions and I don't want to put that on to anybody else as well. But I think what we need to do is really look into what is actually happening, that you know that there is a darker force that happens underneath. There are individuals that are trying to maintain control, and that if we look at the parallels within ourselves, do you have anybody that is actually trying to control you? Do you have anything that there's an aspect of control that you are trying to discern or basically get away from a little bit? So this is where some of your personal boundaries are very important to look at, but also in the worldly aspect, when you know that these individuals are trying to control, how far will you let that go? In other words, there is something that we hold within us, and that is the innate freedom. We were always born free, and we have had freedom within us from the moment that we were conceived. So it is an innate part of us that we need to choose if we so desire. Freedom is for you, it is within you, and it is you. So is love. And when you take love and freedom and you put it together, that brings us peace. That brings us peace. So knowing that there are factions that are trying to control. And I urge you to always look at what's happening, but do your own research. Don't always look to what is out there as the news. In fact, I've actually stopped watching the news. I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news in years and years and years, because I know what happens with the news. It totally gets twisted. If you hear something, just put it this way: if you hear something on the news, whether it's CNBC, MSN, CNN, any of these big name news items, including our own global, etc. Anytime you hear something, flip it around. That's the truth. Just saying. If you hear that there's somebody that is invading, they're not. If you see something that is not happening out there because it looks like it's peaceful, then there is something happening. It's like it's always been the opposite. And when you look at that, you realize that there's an aspect of manipulation and control that is out there. But you also have the capability of intuition, and to gain what it is that is resonating with you. If it looks like it's horrible, it's just terrible, what do you want to have in your life? Do you want to actually look at that and say, oh my gosh, it's terrible, it's horrible? What are you going to do about it? I don't know. What do you do about it? This is where you have the choice. You can take that matter, that situation, into your own hands and basically say, you know what do I really want? I see this happening. And this goes for within your life too. I see this happening. So what am I going to do? Do I want this in my life? Maybe I don't. And if I don't want this in my life, what do I really want? Always look at the positive side instead of what you don't want, as in like anti-war, anti-this, anti-that. Instead of anti, look at what you do want. So anti-war equals peace. I want peace. So keep in mind that these are aspects that are actually coming up for you to be looking at between now and the full moon. And it's going to get fairly intense, as this card definitely says. This is not just for this particular month between now and the full moon. It's going to go on through the entire year. And just keeping that in perspective, realize that yes, things could get a little bit more heated, crazy, whirlwind before it actually settles. And if that's the case, look at this and see what kind of peace you could put in for yourself. How will you settle your waters? Okay. Here's the second card. We have it. Your hard work is paying off, the new moon in Capricorn. This is very interesting. Looking at the two together, we've got the momentum, the energy is gaining momentum, plus your hard work is paying off. In fact, in that portion of the first card, we also have something to say that, are you willing to work for where it is that the goals that you have accessed? Or maybe you have to go over the goals again and just tweak them a little bit, change your perspective of the goal so that you're able to maintain a successful outcome. So your hard work is paying off. A lot of this has to do with things that you've been doing for yourself. So spiritually, what it is that you're doing for yourself, how you're changing your life, as well as the goals that you have for whether it is a project or career, or for relationships, or for hobbies, anything that you wanted to do. And hobbies meaning you could basically have some beautiful creations, that your hard work is actually going to pay off. Even if you don't see anything right now, you're going to see that in the very near future, there will be inklings of the manifestation of that outcome, that perfect goal that you've been looking for. So the new moon in Capricorn, I'm going to quickly pull that one up here as well. Keeping in mind that as you work towards, as you go towards your goals, you definitely have to work for them. So what will you need to do? Maybe you need to tweak your organizational pattern, your step-by-step process. in order to get there. And with regards to relationships, what is it that you can do within your life to make the relationship you have, whether with a significant other or with other people around you, your family, your friends, coworkers, what can you do for yourself that will make the relationships really thrive? Okay, just keeping these things in mind. First and foremost, this card suggests a new start for you professionally. Whatever has been going on in your working life, this card heralds the start of a new and improved work cycle. If you're unhappy in your current job, this is the time to either renegotiate your position or look for something new. Whatever your question, whether work related or otherwise, a new plan and strategy is called for. You need to take a look at the long term and think about where you want to be in 1 year or even 5 years' time. That will inform your best course of action now. So think seriously about it. Drawing this card suggests it's a time for you to be ambitious about whatever it is that you want to achieve. And that's absolutely a step two from the first card, knowing that things are getting the momentum of the energy is growing. Now you know that this is the time to be active on the goals that you want, especially when it comes to the career aspect or something of a project or even a relationship that could actually yield into a more professional or job oriented, career oriented area. So attune to the moon, make a proper plan and execute it well. So that's the thing, is looking at your plans and seeing what is it that you have to maybe tweak in order to get to that area, that goal that you're going towards. Because at this particular time, it's possible that what you were doing before is not going to work. That you might have to just revamp your step-by-step actions to get to where you want to go. Additional meanings could include that you need to be more disciplined to reach your goal. I know that's something I have to do. Hard work will make your dreams a reality, and that is so true. A very good omen for study or teaching. Don't be too controlling and avoid anyone who is controlling. That was totally what I said from the very first card. Watch who is around you that is controlling. Now, the teaching part of this card is that Capricorn is a sign of ambition, building, and hard work. The energy is solid and rigid. So, where it's gaining momentum, this solidity and rigidity needs to be relooked at. The new moon in Capricorn is a powerful lunation that comes towards the end of each year and marks arguably the best moment annually to make a list of your hopes, dreams, ambitions, and intentions for the year ahead. Pulling this card at any time suggests that with planning and discipline, you can achieve whatever you set your mind to. And isn't that the truth? At this particular time, we're urged to look past what is happening in the world, because it is really hard not to, it's hard to really look at yourself if you know what's happening on the outside, especially people who are being directly affected by what is going on worldly. We're all affected, but there are certain aspects that are having conflicts, and that's the people there. Like I say, this is definitely, my prayers are out for everyone that is going through those physical conflicts at this time. So, anyways, what this is basically saying is that there is an aspect of your professional field that you are really going to have to take a second look at. And I'm getting for quite a number of you that what you were doing before is definitely not something that you're interested in now. So, whatever it was, whatever the career was at the time, or the job, because if it's just a job, it means that you're really putting in a lot of effort that's just going nowhere. And that's where the controlling aspect of people are. This is where we need to look at what actions are we going to take in order to bring about that which we can attain income and be able to be happy in doing what we are doing. Because truth be told, we're in it every single day for longer hours in a day than we do doing our own thing. Now, this is the time to consider that doing your own thing is actually going to give you the income and the passion that you are supposed to have at this particular time. And that things that you had considered a hobby before, or a project that was just an aside from what your regular job was, might actually have some portions of it that might bring it to the forefront for you to actually use as your daily income. So this is looking at not just the hard work that you've done because of the fact that you're in a particular job. It's basically all of that information that you've gained from that job for the last, oh, however long you've been in it. You can take that information and really put it towards something that you really like to do on a daily basis. Now, this could be a little bit um, challenging for some to push their minds towards. And I know that because you've been doing something for a length of time. But at this particular time, there is no normal. We don't have this objective to go back to normal. There is no normal, there's only greater. And that to me is absolutely something to strive for. So if that is the case, what is it that you want in your life that makes that you may have to tweak within your own project or the goals that you have in the near future so that it becomes something that is worth attaining for yourself? Keep that in mind. Our last card for today is a win-win outcome is forecast, the full moon in Libra. I think this is very, very perfect. Like for the three cards to come out the way that they have been, you can't make this stuff up. This is definitely right in line. First, we see that the momentum of the energy is growing, and that we know that we are working hard towards specific outcomes. And maybe that specific outcome doesn't necessarily have to mean physical work, but it's actually maybe mental and spiritual work that you're doing for yourself. Well, that also means that maybe something that you're doing, you want to try something new to add into the mix that you're doing. So, for example, if you've been meditating every single day, maybe you want to put yoga into that, or you've been doing yoga and meditation every day. So maybe you want to try some energy work and pull something in. So taking a class might actually be something that you want to try. So there's some aspects of things that this is saying, change it up, because as you change it up, you're going to be able to see the silver lining from the cloud that you may have actually been through in December and January of this particular year. So this is a win-win outcome. And that means that the scales will be balanced, and that you, no matter what it is that you're doing right now, you will likely end up in a winning scenario. So we're going to look at that full moon in Libra and see where this goes, because we do know that Libra is the sign of balance of the scales. So it's literally something that you need to look at in order to balance your life. So the full moon in Libra, the sign of partnership, of falling in love, and of closely relating to someone else. Um, it is the sign of, sorry, I was meant to say that. The full moon is the sign of partnership, of falling in love, and of closely relating to someone else. Since full moons are about climaxes and conclusions, this card suggests you're either about to start a new relationship, or that an important existing relationship is changing somehow, perhaps coming to an end, or moving to a new level of commitment. It's an important thing to remember that people come to us for a reason, and sometimes just for a season. If a relationship is ending now, it's doing so at the right time. So try not to fight it. This card can also refer to a professional relationship. There is a sense that you need to balance your ego with someone else's needs. A win-win outcome is possible with give and take. Doing so might be the answer to your question. Attuned to the moon, let go of that which is falling away. So important at this particular time. If it is a relationship, the hard part is to let it go. If it is a very close relationship or a very needed job, then it is very difficult to let it go. And everything that we're doing right now is letting go of things that we no longer need in our lives. And I'll tell you, if you don't let go, it will be harder because the universe will make you let it go at this particular time. With the energies moving as fast as they are and gaining momentum, the universe will make sure that that happens because it's not aligned with where you're at right now. And you're on that right path. So that means that no matter what happens, you're going to end up having to let go of what it is that is no longer serving you. Additional meanings for this card: see the other person through the eyes of love. It will change your perspective. A um, very good thing to look at. Definitely, a different perspective is nice and much needed. It's time for you to make a firm decision. Time for you to focus on yourself for a while. That's self care for sure, and basically giving yourself the benefit of the doubt. Look after yourself, but avoid vanity. And now is the time for a makeover. The teaching of this card is no matter when you pull the full moon in Libra card, it encourages you to find a balance between your desires and those of the people around you. Balance is a very Libran energy and the full moon brings things to a peak. Dramas and upsets bring partnerships to the fore. Isn't that true? Libra energy also brings love energy. Negotiations are easier. So, looking to this, some of you may be looking at a new relationship coming up, and this is saying go for it. Try what is there to lose at this particular time? But making sure that as you do go for this new relationship, that you still have your intuition guiding you where you go. And also knowing that if you have to let go of a relationship, that yes, it will not be easy. But if you look at maybe the last 8 months or so, you might have had signs already that that relationship was not going to last. Just giving yourself that opportunity to look back at all the little signs that have been actually saying, yeah, you know what? I've been having so much stress over this. My head's on it too many times during the day. It's distracting me. I need to let it go. So, those are definitely stuff that's happening at this particular time, especially in the new moon. This particular time of your life is about bringing in the newness. And if you're going to manifest something, what is it that you want to manifest at this time? Our manifestation powers are through the roof at this time. So, really take some time today to really focus on yourself, as they're saying, and say, okay, I need to figure out how I need to tweak my life so that I go through the next little bit doing things that I want to do. What is it and what's the outcome out of all of this? What do I want to see in my life on the long term? It talks about 1 year to about 5 years. I'd say just look at 1 year because it's more immediate. When you look that far ahead, there's a lot of things that can change between now and the end of the year. So, looking at things just in the short term and say, what do I want to see? What are the goals I want to see? And then break them down into objectives. So, if you have an utmost goal, then basically take a look at what's the step by step options that I have here that I could do in order to reach that goal. These are things that are really important. And I know, for example, projects that you have on hand. And this is a time for those. I'm getting this really strongly, so I must have to say it. For those of you that have a book in your works or has been in your head for a long period of time, whether it's a book, a vlog, a blog, a set of cards, oracle cards, like I do. I'm working on a set for myself here, or anything that is of writing material. Do it. Start it if you haven't started. And if you have started, keep working on it and give yourself that organizational structure of a schedule per day. Schedule it on a day to day basis so that you can get it done because this is the year to do it. We're into a very progressive year and it'll go into 2023 as well, but 2022 is the year that we can get things done. And if you can see, that's kind of what the world is doing. The world is, it looks like it's pretty dire, but you know what? Look at on the other side of things, there's actually a positive side to a lot of the things that are happening because our eyes are being opened. Our eyes are being opened to a lot of truths. Remember what I said. Whenever you hear the news telling you one thing, always look to the opposite. My words of advice that have always worked. So, for that being said, I wish you a wonderful new moon day. And I really hope that you will take time for yourself to make the effort in figuring out what you want to manifest. That's so much fun. Give yourself the time of a wish list and enjoy the day in whatever capacity that you want. And if you get a chance, check below. I have a link to my new website, takebackyourpower.live, and check it out. I'm really excited to start it. I've launched it as of last week and really excited to share it with everybody there too. So thank you again for listening. I wish you a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be the full moon, if not earlier when I have something else coming out. Please, if you like this channel, or if you like this video, please like it below and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, and it helps you out too, because you get to hear when I post another video. Thanks again for watching. Take care.